and Meshes Adventures, it's me, the Spot King, and I'm today here to help you decide whom to pick, Rogue or Ranger when you're playing Baldurus Gate 3. Picking a class is actually hardest task for you in Baldur's Gate, because whoever you pick, you will stick with him for next 100 hours or even more. Of course you can respect them, but who respecting characters after all? So while looking almost the same, you know, these guys with a bow, with leather clothes, leather armor, they completely different classes, and today we will talk about this decision if you want to pick Rogue or Ranger. And of course we got different videos with Bard and Cleric, Druid and Warlock, Fighter and Paladin, and Sorcerer and Wizard. Yeah, we compared them all. We will compare Barbarian with Monk on release, and now Ranger Rogue. So let's start with character creation and with Rogue. Rogue is a stealthy class with nice reflexes and some interesting skills. So when you pick a Rogue, you will get Dexterity and Intelligence saving throw proficiencies. Proficiency with light armor, and that's basically it. And of course with simple weapon, hand crossbow, longsword, rapier, short sword. But most important, you will get access to 2 actions. Basically it's same action but with different weapons. Sneak attack with range and melee weapon. And this is bread and butter of any rogue. And this will add damage when you're attacking against targets that you have advantage against. So very useful attack to have more damage early on and even more damage later on when you advance in your class. So when you pick in Rogue, you don't have any subclass options, you need to level up first. That's why we go into abilities and let's discuss how you can build your Rogue. Of course, you can start with Dexterity because it's main attribute, and Dexterity will add your damage and your effectiveness with ranged weapons and some melee weapons. So basically daggers fall into this category, so just go all in into Dexterity. Then you can kinda decide, you can go a little bit into Charisma, maybe you want some Intelligence, so just because you got some proficiency in this stat. You can leave Strength on like 0, so it will be 8 in the basic rules. But you can go and add some Strength, because with little Strength you won't be able to pick up some stuff, you won't be able to jump, and when you play in Rogue you actually want to be a little bit versatile, you want to jump in some places, so why not to go and add some Strength. And if you're not planning to be Rogue with a bow all the time, and if you plan to go like sneaky guy with daggers, then definitely just dump something into Constitution, because Constitution means you will have more HP. So final stats could be like this, pretty balanced, versatile Rogue. But if you decide to pick Ranger, you are unrivaled scout and tracker. So it sounds nice, but most of the time Ranger considered as most boring and non-versatile class in Dungeons and Dragons, which is like base rule set for Baldur's Gate 3. But they actually made nice adjustments and made Ranger actually viable and interesting and funny to play. Ranger, same as Rogue, comes without any subclasses, so you will unlock it later when you level up. But you pick favorite enemy. In basic D&D you will just pick a type of enemy and you will have nice ability to when you fighting versus them. But here you pick additional proficiency. So you can go with Bounty Hunter and you will have proficiency in Investigation and have a lot easier times when you're trying to cast Ensnaring Strike. If you pick Keeper of the Veil, you will gain proficiency in Arcana and you can cast Protection from Evil and Good. This will grant you protection against some creatures. Magebreaker again give you proficiency in Arcana and True Strike cantrip. Ranger Knight, awesome stuff. So with this you will gain proficiency in armor, and especially in heavy armor. And Sanctified Stalker, which will give you Sacred Flame cantrip, and this is basically cantrip from Paladin. Then you gain 1 more proficiency, so you can be Beast Tamer, and you will unlock Find Familiar, and you will be able to cast it without expanding spell slot. So basically you can have Cat with you all the time. You can pick Sleight of Hand proficiency, or reduce cold, fire or poison damage, depending on your choice. Let's pick Beast Tamer for this example. And other stuff, you will get Strength, Dexterity saving throws, light and medium armor proficiency, shield proficiency, simple and martial weapon proficiency. So as you can see, Ranger is far more versatile in picking of armors, weapons and other stuff. And while Ranger listed as a dexterity main class, actually it will depend on the build. Ranger is not supposed to go with the bow all the time. If you want to play Ranger with the bow, then of course go with dexterity, like this example build. But if you want to be more fighter rangers, there's a lot of builds with rangers that are using double-handed weapons and other stuff, then just flip it and have more strength. But for this example, let's just dump everything into dex, till build into strength, some constitution to have more HP, and some wisdom. You don't need a lot of intelligence, and some charisma of course. So let's go and see how he looks in a fight. So, early game Ranger is nothing special. You can use your Find Familiar if you have it, and you can spawn wherever you like. Maybe you like crabs, so just go and spawn the crab. So how to use your Familiar? Of course, this crab can help you in the fight, but not too much. So most of the time you will use him as some guy who can go and scout some area. You know, understand where is the enemy. So for example, oh yeah, I see enemy over here. Then you go to your rangers and you just use hide action and try to sneak up behind your enemy and attack from a sneaky position, just like that. That's how you play with the ranger. But what happens when you level up? At level 2 you will unlock 2 spells and you can basically pick whatever you like. You got pretty unique spells. So Goodberry is mostly druid use spell, but if you want to have some supportive ability, it's nice healing spell. But most of the time you want to pick Hunter's Mark to mark creature, and whenever you get your concentration going on and not broken, you will inflict 2 additional damage to this creature. And this used as bonus action, so very nice spell. And Hail of Thorns, just pretty normal good spell too if you want to have more spells as a ranger. Then you pick your fighting class. So you can go into archery if you like to use your bow. But as I told you, if you want to go, you can basically build a more powerful ranger with melee weapons. So go for dueling if you want to use weapon in one hand, or 2 weapon fighting if you want to use weapon in 2 hands. Or additionally you can have defense. And this doesn't mean you need to wear shield and armor, but this will just add 1 armor class, so whenever you get at least some armor, you will have it stronger. So why not? For this example, let's stick with the archery. So already on level 2 you got a lot more options. Just as before, you can use your familiar to go and scout. So let's just summon this cat and ask cat to go and see what's going on. So Mr. Cat, just go and see. Okay, we see a lot of enemies here and Cat actually surprises them, but it's totally okay. So now we can attack from sneaky position, so if you were hidden, you can attack from hidden attack. But if you want, you can use Hunter Mark to inflict more damage into some target. So we use Hunter Mark on this imp, and then we use our attack. And this imp got just incredible amount of damage. So as you can see, pretty easy and straightforward, and if you want this easy and straightforward class, then why not to use Ranger? I recommend to use Hunter's Mark on your turn start if you're not planning to use additional bonus actions, because if I cast Hunter's Mark right now on this imp can actually destroy my concentration if he hit me. And I lose my saving throw, so let's see, saving throw failed. That's why Hunter's Mark no longer afflicting this imp. And as you can see, it's spells, and spells using spell mechanic. So let's just destroy this imp with normal attack, just like that. And to cast more spells, you need to take long rest. To take long rest, you need some supplies. That's why you can't cast a lot of spells. So be smart when you're using your spells in a battle. When you level up more, you finally can pick your subclass at level 3. For Ranger, it will be Hunter, Beastmaster and Gloomstalker. Beastmaster, as stated, will give you a Ranger companion, and this is a lot more powerful than just basic familiar. When you're picking Hunter, you will get basically more powerful fighting Ranger. You will be able to target 2 creatures at once with Horde Breaker. You can have nice time against giant creatures, and Colossus Slayer, very nice addition. So you will have additional 1d8 damage if target is below hit point maximum. So if you're not attacking first in your turn and someone already damaged target, you are very good with this Colossus Slayer to finish off targets. You gain 1 more additional spell, and you can have replacement spells. So this is like basically, if you don't like any spells that you have, you can just go and replace it with another one. So pick wisely, because these spells are not available to you whenever you finish your leveling up process. Pick and subclass will depend on what build you want to play, but for today let's stick with the Hunter, most basic of them all. On level 4 you will get 1 more replacement spell if you not like one, but no new spells. And you will get Feat. So Feats is basically some additional abilities that you can have to enhance your build and improve your abilities. And on level 5 you will get level 2 spell. There's pretty nice variety of some supportive and defensive spells. And don't forget, you can, as always, replace old spells from level 1 that you don't like. For example, you don't need Hunter Mark, and yeah, you will need it, but maybe you think you don't need this, so just go and switch it with some level 2 spells. And let's see how this level 5 Ranger can fight. So for example, Horde Breaker will need creatures to stand nearby. As you can see, we can't just shoot 2 arrows. Same goes with melee attack. That's why you want somehow to control area, and that's why most of the time Ranger got some nice control abilities. So for example, Spike Growth can summon a lot of spikes, and enemies will be forced to go and evade them, or they will die like this imp. And let's go into the fight. So again, ensnaring. Strike is nice way to start the combat and place someone into one area. Then you can just follow with basic attack. Or you can just go and make basic attacks. Because as Ranger, as any other fighting classes, you will have 2 attacks in 1 turn, easily. And if you need some spells, you got a lot of controlling spells. For example, you can silence all enemies so they won't use skills in this area. And forgive me, I was mistaken, so ensnaring strike is actually not bonus action somehow. I don't know, it's bug or wherever, but it stated as action and bonus action, and it's used as action, because it was used like my first attack all the time. But still, Ranger is just very easy and basic class that can use variety of different weapons and have fun in this game just like that. If you don't want any complicated classes, any complicated combat and decisions, so Ranger will be class for you. But maybe you want another bow or dagger class like Rogue. So how Rogue plays out? So at first levels, Rogue is even more easier. You just sneak up to someone and attack them with your dagger. Like that. Or with your bow from the shadows, like that. Of course you can use sneak attack and attack from the shadows, you see, like very scary Rogue. But when you level up a little bit, you will unlock class features, which is Cunning Action, Disengage, and Cunning Action Dash. And that's a really cool ability. What it does, it's using bonus action to use dash or disengage, and that's bread and butter of every rogue. Because when you use an action to disengage, most of the time you're just trying to run away from someone and then they catch up with you anyway. But rogue is too squishy and want always to disengage and then attack his enemies. So that's very nice actions for rogue. But when you level up one more time to level 3, you will be prompted with subclass picking, and you will have Arcane Trickster, Chief, or Assassin. Assassin will specialize on sneaky tactics, attacking from the shadows, etc, etc. Arcane Trickster is more mage class, with more trickery stuff, so he will be able to cast sleep and other stuff, and while you think why rogue need sleep. Sleep will put target basically into sleep, and you can sneak up behind him when he just stands in front of you. You don't need any shadows, you just put someone into sleep, go behind him, and attack from behind with sneak attack. So there's a large variety of different spells that you can use, and even some magic ones like Magic Missile, for example, Chunder Wave, Burning Hands. So wherever you like, this is a very versatile class. So you play like a mage, you inflict less damage, but you're more like sneaky mage. And you will have improved mage hand cantrip. And as chief you will get additional bonus action and resistance to falling damage. So more like easy and straightforward class. For this example, let's pick chief. When you level up your chief, you will get ability to have more feats. So basically just improve your abilities or have some additional features. And level 5, you will have awesome class feature from the rogue. When attack hits you, you only take half the usual damage. Awesome stuff to make rogues not that squishy. So as you can see, leveling is pretty easy and straightforward. Let's look how rogues play out on early levels and later on. But honestly, rogues play out almost the same no matter when you play them later or in early game. But of course, when you're playing like Arcane Trickster, he plays completely different. He's more like a rogue mage. But this basic rogue is just betrayal machine. He betrays his foes and allies. So as rogue, you want to use hide action as often as possible. So always press hide action and see this red area. The red area will show you vision of enemies, so you can go and sneak up behind them or whenever you like. Additionally, you can use turn-based mode, so you can enter turn-based mode and just use actions turn by turn. So it's no matter like they acting in real time or in turn-based, you can sneak up. But this will make it a lot easier. So we just end your turn, everyone doing their turns, and they found us. So while fighters will get bonus action or just bonus attack, which is can consider like bonus action, rogues get bonus action, like secondary bonus action. That's why you can use, for example, cunning action disengage, because if you see this red arrow over here, if we try to disengage just like this, we will take a hit. But we can use this cunning action disengage, we can run away a little bit, maybe even use cunning action dash as bonus action to go behind the corner, and now we kinda a little bit hidden from them and can use our attack to try and attack them. So it's very mobile, very like moving class. But if you're playing like, for example, monk, you most of the time will move from enemy to enemy, you will move forward. But when you're playing rogue, most of the time if enemies see you, you want to move backwards. You want to move backwards, maybe move behind some, behind some rocks, behind some crates, hide a little bit. So when you even in the fight, you can try and hide from enemies. And when you hide in the fight, you can use your sneak attack and attack with advantage from hiding, and this will inflict a lot of damage to enemies, but you need to stay hidden. So I just came up to his eyes, he see me, and I can't use sneak attack anymore. But I will use darkness, I will hide in darkness. That's why Draw is a really nice class for rogues, because you will get access to darkness, and with darkness basically you summon this dark area where you can completely free move around and no one will see you if they don't have like light spells and other stuff. So you can stay in the darkness, use hide, go a little bit out of darkness and sneak attack with a lot of damage to one-shot almost any enemy, or just inflict a lot of wounds. So that's how rogues play out. You just go and try and attack enemies from the hidden position with sneak attacks. And late game loop of rogue can just look like this. You use dash action, which will double your movement speed this turn. You come to enemy or come into distance to hit them, you attack them, and then you disengage. So when enemies can only move one distance, you can move double distance and stay behind some rocks and just, run out of rocks, run out of crates, sneak attack with your bow, for example, and then run away again. So again, our loop is just come, attack, cunning action, for example, disengage, cunning action dash, and we just disengage from the enemy. And that's our rogue. So, write in the comments what class is best for you if you deciding whom to pick, ranger or rogue, for your first playthrough, or maybe even second already. But if you want or considering different classes, watch videos on the screen right now. I got comparison of many different classes in Baldur's Gate 3. See you in the kingdom, guys.